Hey everyone, thanks for joining How to Cloud Learning session. In today's session, we'll teach you how to allow our Office 365 user to log in from within limited region or countries to increase the security in our tenancy. And in order to do that, we need to create a conditional access policy in Azure tenants. Alright, let's jump into the practical. So choose your favorite browser to open the Azure portal, which is portal.azure.com. I already opened this office.com, so I'm going to open here portal.azure.com with my existing username and password. I don't want to enable the MFA as of now. So let's leave that one. Alright, so here I already log in on the azure.portal.com and this is my Azure portal. Right here on top, we need to search this Azure Active Directory. Let's move on this one. So this is my Azure Active Directory blade. So right here on left side, we need to go on security. As you can see, this is shield. You can see on the security. So let me click on security. It will take me through the security blade. Yes guys, you can see this lots of other things on the left side menu. So I'm going to hit the conditional access policy, so it will take me through the conditional access policy blade. Alright, so now we are on the conditional access policy blade, and where you can create the new conditional access policy hitting the new policy button. Alright, but before creating this conditional access policy, we need to create the name location, and in order to do that, we need to jump into the security blade again. So right here on top, you can hit this security button, and on the left side, right here on the left side, you can see this name location. So once I click on the name location, it will bring me on the name location blade. Right, so here we are going to create a new name location for the country wise, as we are aiming to allow our Office 365 user to log in from the specific countries. So let's create a new name location for allow country list. Okay. I will call this one as a allow countries, and I'm gonna select Australia and India. Where is India? India. Okay, there you go. And then hit the create button. So as you can see, this creation is on progress. It will take few seconds only to create the name location. So finally we create one name location with the country wise allow countries, and which we will use when we will create the conditional access policy. So let's jump into the conditional access policy. Alright, so now we are going to create a new conditional access policy after hitting this new policy button. Let's call this policy as a allow Office 365 login countries. You can use your any name that you can easily identify it. Alright, so let's move to the user and assignment. Underneath of assignment, you can see the user. So I'm going to include specific group. You can use this all users or select user and group. So I'm going to select the specific groups. Just hit the users and group, and here on the right side it is asking me to select the group or user. So I already created one group here, which is existing one, the CD group. So let me select group. Right, as you can see, this is the group which I selected, which is showing here. Let's move to the app which I am wanted to block. Okay, all right. So I wanted to block all the apps from all countries except few. So once you hit this all cloud apps, it will give you warning. Don't lock yourself out. This policy's impact on the Azure folder. That means to say, if you are going to block all the apps and your user is part of this policy, then you will also gonna be blocked. So make sure guys, don't select your global admin account or the account which you are using to create this policy, right? So I'm aware about this thing, so I'll select this all cloud app. Let's move to the condition. So once I hit the condition, on the right size detail you can see this 4 type of conditions. So let's move one by one. So in device platform, on the right side you can see it will open the new pop-up for the device platform. I'm going to use, I wanted to configure this one and from any device. So this policy is apply on any device. So to select the any device, you will have other choices as well that you want to select, like select device platform, Android, iOS, Windows. Okay, but in this policy I'm going to select any device. Let's jump into the location. All right, I wanted to configure, I select yes to configure this, and I'm going to include any location. All right, and I wanted to exclude the location which I created. All right, so here you can see this allow country name location which I created a few minutes back. Right, so I'm going to exclude these countries from this policy. All right, so again I included any location but exclude my allow countries name location. Let's move to the clients app. I wanted to configure yes, and so previously we select all device platform, means any device, and in any device I going to enable or apply this policy for all the client apps, which include browser, mobile app and desktop client, exchange, active syncs. That means if you are using the Outlook, all right, if you are using the Outlook, that is also included on this one, and other client, for instance this protocol, POP3, IMAP, SMTP and etc. That means everything, means all client, all apps. So let's select this one, this filter. So that is something advanced level, so I'm not going to cover this one here, so let's leave as it is. All right, so I finished the condition. Now let's move to the access control. Okay, so in this one, in this policy, I'm going to block. Okay, so suppose anyone from any device, from any app except Australia and India region going to log in on any cloud app, they're gonna be blocked. That means, in another word, I am only allowing the India and Australia country for logging on any cloud app for a specific group that I used here. All right, so let's select, and for multi-factor require all selected controls, so I leave as it is default, right, and I'm going to block this one. All right, so still this policy is not enabled, because as you can see this enable policy is report only. Once I click on, okay, all right, so then it is going to be enabled, and I can keep this policy as off as well. Okay, but I wanted to enable this one, so I'm going to hitting or select this on button. Guys, I think you are having the query about this session control, why I have not shown. this one, but that is used for other things. I'm not going to cover this session control here. In this video we are simply going to create the conditional access policy, which allowing us to log in from specific countries, which is, and in this video we are allowing only India and Australia country. All right, so let's hit on create button. So security, oh, so here you can see that it looks like the about the manage organization security configuration. That's great. You must first disable the security before enabling conditional access policy. So whenever you are creating a new trial tenant, by default security default settings are already enabled. So if these settings are already enabled, that means first you need to disable these settings, and then only it will allowing you to create this conditional access policy. Okay, so I'm going to disable this security settings. For that, or in order to do that, I'm going to open the new window with the porter.azure.com and ask me later. All right, I recently accessed this Azure Active Directory. That means in my favorite application it is showing here. So I'm going to select this one, and I'm going to select this property on left side menu, means Azure Active Directory property. So guys, here on the down you can see this, right here you can see this manage security default. Okay, once I hit this one, so the security default is enabled. Now I am going to disable this one. Okay, and once I select the disable, it is going to ask me the reason to disable this security default. So I'm giving this my organization using the conditional access policy, which is true. I'm going to save button, and it is going to disable the security default. Now let's jump back to this our screen. Okay, I'm not going to refresh this one. Let's hit the create button. Okay, I think I need to refresh it, so I'm going to refresh it. Alright, after refreshing the page, now I'm going to hit this create button. Now it's allowing me, and you can see that it is creating the conditional access policy. So let's jump into the Azure Active Directory blade again. On the left side we'll jump into the security blade. It will take you through the security blade. Let's hit the right here. I'm gonna hit the conditional access policy. Okay, it is not showing here, so that will take couple of minutes. All right, there you go. You can see the conditional policy is available here. So that means we successfully created the conditional access policy. And so guys, make sure whenever you are planning to create a conditional access policy, before you have to disable this manage security default. As you can see here, I already disabled it. Okay, so please disable this manage security default first, and then plan for your new conditional access policy. After creating the conditional access policy, if you want to edit it, just hit this conditional policy, and then again it will take you through the edit wizard, where you can do the changes whatever you want to do on the existing policy. Let's move again on the conditional access policy blade, where you can see the conditional access policy. Alright guys, so that's how today we learn how to create the new conditional access policy. Thank you guys for joining me on today's session. I'll come back to you with new videos and new learning session. Thank you very much.